Hello there, Chad Remington here, your lead expert reporter of the Prestigious Diamond Dynasty League. Back here with you for another trade review. It turns out it might be the most controversial trade review we've done because this is supposedly a very controversial trade. We have a playoff team and a non-playoff team doing a trade. A playoff team is liking to add depth to their team, and a non-playoff team is liking to acquire future draft picks. What? That's terrible. So controversial. Um, let's get into this trade. We have Chudley Cannons and Steve Mann trading away a 2022 second rounder, which will probably be a late second rounder, to the Dallas Duttys and Jason Lunau in exchange for Brandon Bolden, Devonta Freeman, and Marcus Johnson. Um, quick recap, of this high-level recap of this trade is we have two teams going two different ways. One's a playoff team, one's a non-playoff team, like we've already said. And they are trying to benefit. The playoff team is obviously trying to benefit now, and the non-playoff team is trying to benefit for the future. And try to extract value from players that they exactly don't see a future in for their franchise. And rumors are, again, this is a very controversial trade. It seems that the playoff teams think that Steve ripped off Jason. The non-playoff teams think that Jason is not allowed to acquire draft picks or care about their future. Either way, there's some issues. So if there's issues from both sides, it sounds like a pretty fair and good trade to me. It's almost like the people in the league don't want two teams to benefit from a single trade. It's kind of mind-blowing stuff. I have some inside information. Rumors are that Jason had reached out to other playoff teams asking if they were interested in Bolden and Freeman and was shot down. And a trade, they didn't want to have trade discussions. I have other inside information that no one else had, no other playoff teams other than Steve had reached out to Jason. So I don't know what people are expecting. Maybe that if Jason would have reached out to more people, he could have gotten maybe a mid second rounder, an early second rounder from somebody. But he had tried to do his due diligence. But I don't know. It just seems like the playoff teams are upset because they have to face Steve Mann in the playoffs this year, and his team is stronger from depth. And the non-playoff teams are upset with Jason because he's acquiring draft picks. His team's going to be apparently stronger for the future, hopefully, and they're going to have to fight with his shitty record in the league. And since we're on that point, I'm going to transition to this right now, is that, just a reminder, everybody, is there's a draft lottery. The whole point of the draft lottery is that if you finish last, you're not guaranteed the first pick. You have a 23% chance to get the first pick. The 15th place is 18, so you only have a 5% chance more. The ninth place team could still get the first overall pick in this rookie draft. That is just the way it works. That's the beauty of it, is there's no, giant benefit to trading away some good players for if you think it benefits yourself for the future. Also, just to add in, there's a last place punishment. You gotta throw $25 to the people who make the championship game for 15th to 16th place. I don't think Jason would love to do that. He's just, again, trying to make his team better for the future. It's a dynasty. He's treating his team as a franchise, just like how Steve is. So let's get in this trade. This video might be a little long. I apologize about that. But from Steve's side of the trade, he's receiving Brandon Bolden, and we'll go into each of these one at a time. How about Brandon Bolden, a 31-year-old running back who the last few weeks, 16, almost 17, 2.6, 9, 8.5, who's been producing. The Patriots' backfield has been a little banged up, and he's benefited from that. He's kind of playing that James White role. And I think from Steve's perspective, I know he has Damian Harris here, is that it's just kind of a safety blanket when he makes this playoff run. He gets Bolden, who, if Damian Harris goes out, he at least can play Bolden and, won't be as good as Damian Harris, but, he's getting, hopefully a 5 to 10 points out of Bolden, where he might not, he might get 1 or 2 from a very weak player. We have Devonta Freeman is the next player, who is right now the number 1 running back on Baltimore. I mean, he's averaging 5.19 yards per carry right now. Pretty darn good, right? Um, Obviously, Lamar Jackson's the number one running back on Baltimore, but Baltimore's a pretty good offense. He's got a couple touchdowns here. Let's look at his game. So really not playing too much. Let's go over the last 4 weeks. 11.3, 11.4, 15.3, 7.3. Pretty strong. And again, a 29-year-old player who is playing good right now. I know his contract's up after this year. Who knows what happens? Hot take, I think he's not going to be signed by anybody, but come week 4 next season, he might be a good player to have because he might be filled into a spot just like he is right now, come to a bunch of injured running back team, a team that has a bunch of injured running backs, and start producing. Because, he used to be like, he's a stud. I like Devonta Freeman. But Steve's acquiring him because he's a very now, don't know what to hold for the future. And then we have, I guess, a very huge player in this Marcus Johnson, who is the number 2 wide receiver on Tennessee right now. He's had one good game. He broke 100, didn't even actually break it, got 100 yards, but, killed it one game. And now he's, I guess, the most sought-after player in the entire league. So from Steve's perspective, acquiring depth here for his playoff run, he's not going to be able to make trades. His depth on his team is not very good, so he is sacrificing a future draft pick to add some depth to his playoff run for now so he can ideally win a championship. From the other side, we have the Dallas Duttys, again, giving up their pretty much, 2 of their top 3 running backs, I'd say, in, again, older running backs for a draft pick. I don't know why it's such a big deal to trade a 29-year-old and a 31-year-old running back for a future rookie draft pick. I think Jason is just trying to extract any type of value that he can out of his team that's not going to make the playoffs, and he doesn't see a future for these running backs on his team, so he's going to try to get a pick out of it. I think, I think both teams benefit from this, right? Jason for the future, Steve for the now. And they get some pretty fair trade. To go on a little more of a rant, I think that every year there should be about 4 to 5 to 6 playoff teams, or maybe I shouldn't say playoff teams, 4 to 5 to 6 teams that are buying, and 4 to 6 teams that are selling. Come the trade deadline, the playoff teams that are buying are obviously trying to push for that championship, right? And the non-playoff teams who are selling are trying to, trade some players, generally some older players, so they can extract, again, value from their team to add value for the future. So sell people high when they're older, like, again, a 31-year-old running back. Sell him right now when he's pretty useful. Next year, maybe he's not useful. Who knows? So there should be about 4 to 6 teams doing deals. I don't know why more teams are not doing this or doing trades during this week. If you're a bottom 4 team and you really don't you don't like some of the players on your team, but you can trade them for something to a playoff team, you should probably do that. Some good advice for you. And, if you don't, you might just be finishing between, 8th and 14th every single year. I know the Dallas Duttys are going for a championship in the future. I don't care if they're, 16th or 2nd. It's not a championship. And I hope more trades happen in this league. I hope more people don't, sit on their thumbs and realize that, I hope they become a good manager and a good manager for their franchise and make the best franchise out of their team that they can. That's all I can say. I hope everyone has a wonderful and beautiful rest of the day. I definitely don't love all of you.